One of the principles we're looking at in our Unstuck series this summer is the idea of meditation. Step 11, we seek through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God, seeking only to know His will and the power to do it. In other words, you're praying and meditating and reading the Bible for transformation, not just for information. So great, but how? How do I meditate? It sounds kind of weird. Well, meditation's important enough to be mentioned more than 50 times in the Old Testament, like Psalm 1, which we're going to be looking at this weekend in detail. It starts, "Blessed is the one who doesn't walk in step with the wicked or stand in the way that sinners take or sit in the company of mockers, but whose delight is in the law of the Lord and who meditates on His law day and night." It says that person is like a tree planted by streams of water, which yields its fruit in season and whose leaf does not wither. Whatever they do prospers. I like what John Ortberg says about this. He says, meditation isn't meant to be esoteric or spooky or reserved for gurus in the lotus position. Meditation simply means sustained attention. And it's built around this simple principle: what the mind repeats, the mind retains. You know, meditation is likened in Scripture to a cow chewing its cud. So why don't you today choose one single piece of Scripture that you'll kind of chew on all day long? Take, for example, Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." As Ortberg suggests, for one day, just live with those words: be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am God. Repeat that to yourself, even out loud when you can. And then you start thinking about what it means. Be still. Okay, today, as best I can, I am going to be still. I'm not going to chatter thoughtlessly. I'll remember I don't have to vocally defend myself all the time. I'll remember I don't have to make sure people think of me the way I want them to. Today, I don't have to get my own way. Today, before I make decisions, I will be still. And I'll try to listen for God's voice. Today, I'm not going to be tossed around by anxiety or anger or post all the time. I'm going to take those feelings of anxiety and anger as prompts to listen to the Spirit first. I will be still. I'm going to ask God, how would you like me to respond before I talk? I will practice stillness. As John says, as you do this, a wonderful thing's going to happen. You'll discover you like being still. You really want to be still. And you know what else you'll discover? You're memorizing and internalizing Bible verses. Remember, what matters is not how many verses you memorize, but how many verses you internalize. What happens inside of you as you immerse yourself in them. Memorization, meditation, it's only a means to an end. The end is that you begin to develop the heart of Jesus Christ inside of you. I'm going to be talking more about that this week in church as we wrap up our series Unstuck. Also this weekend, baptisms in all services. Super stoked about that. And after the 11 a.m. service, join us for our Young Families Beach Day. All the details at tlc.org/YF for Young Families. I really hope to see you at church this weekend.